Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask you if you talked earlier this year about how you wanted Bridget to hunt her shots more, not just kind of hang out on the perimeter and take jumpers. And there were a couple of moments I thought in the last game where we really saw that. There was one time when she put the ball down, went into the lane, and got a basket. Is this kind of what you're looking for? And do you sense there's maybe a little higher level of aggression in her game right now?
Yeah, I think she's been doing it even prior to the last game. Um, when you're in a reserve role, maybe things look a little different for you, but the her intent, I think, from the start of our season, including training camp, if you look at the season that she had over in Hungary and watch the way that she played, I had commented on that in the offseason that, um, she's not only taking open shots, but even shots that maybe are lightly contested. And so that confidence to know that that's what we need her to do. She's never going to take a bad shot. And frankly, it's okay if she takes an occasional bad shot. You have to live with that. Her understanding of straight line driving, going to the rim, putting her body on the line, those sort of things. That's what's developed in her game. She does these things for Canada. She did these things in Hungary, and so I think she's poised to do those things for us this season.
Marnie and Leah.
Yes, ma'am. Hi. Back-to-backs are more rare in the W, and this is also the third game in 4 nights. It's a built-in excuse if you want it, which you and your players are not going to use. I get that. What kinds of things do you really need to pay and players need to pay extra attention to in terms of keeping their physical bodies and mental rest, those kinds of things when you were playing at this point, the third game in 4 days and in a back-to-back?
I'm a big believer, and you don't think about it. You just go out and do your job. I'm a big believer in that. We've got a much better situation. We were in our beds at 9 o'clock last night. We had a shoot around. These are things we don't ordinarily have on a back to back. Those of us that have been in the league for a long time, back to backs are flying at 6 a.m. And getting in, sometimes having a connection, sometimes sleeping on the airport, the floor and the chairs, trying to grab whatever rest you can before a back to back. So this is easy.
Does it also allow players, like after a game yesterday, if they needed some kind of treatment or ice bath or something, does it allow them to do anything of that nature that they wouldn't normally be able to do? Because I feel like you could have gotten an evening flight to Atlanta last night in this situation where you had the noon game.
Sure. Yeah. I was gonna say the earlier game certainly helped that. And we, either way, whether it was commercial or charter, we were going to get down there last night. So the earlier game for a back to back is much easier to manage. To your point, you can name your fly time. So if you would like to go ahead and, leave time for treatment, et cetera, you can. You're going to get in a little bit later, but you're either going to do it at home or you're going to do it when you land. So both of those, Chuck and Brandy and the medical staff, we travel with game readies, et cetera. So on the plane, they're game ready. So we can do, we've just come so far and the things that we can do and we do on the fly. And we've got one of the best training staffs there is in all the WNBA.
Cheryl, with Dorka returning to the team and her obviously coming off of a very good rookie season, knowing your system, knowing you, do you have a conversation and sit down with her as she quickly returns and you're already in season of the expectations and what year two looks like? Or is she kind of just fitting in as it goes and you'll get to that as needed?
Dorka's the same, she probably wouldn't mind a conversation. And we'll get to that. But, essentially, Dorka's the same as some of our other post players that we just trust their movements and what they do. She knows exactly what we want from her. Dorka does. Being a second year player and, just getting here when we have a breather, we'll take some time and maybe sit down and talk about. But we had an exit interview last year. So, just come in here and do what, we want you to do. And she'll keep growing as a player the more experience she gets. I thought that the experience she had in Italy was a really good one on a really good team. So high level experiences in EuroLeague, all that's good for her. Just bring all that with you, into your second season.
And have you seen some pieces of her game kind of moving as from last season as you've watched her overseas?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, overseas, a lot of times they're charged with being if not the best player, one of the top two players on the team. And so, you know, we were often seeing her when she played really well, and and it was both rebounding the basketball, it was assisting. She's a ball mover, putting the ball in the hole a little bit, finding different ways to do that. Dorca's very good off the bounce, and so parts of the game I know she certainly wants to add. She's a willing 3-point shooter. She's going to keep working on that. We have to keep evolving at the free throw line in terms of percentages. So, but all those things, absolutely, you saw her. Like she's just a confident and emotionally mature player, and so you're just going to see a natural evolution of just more experience that will help her reach her greatest heights, just one season at a time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any final questions?
Thanks all.